Mark, what's going on?
They killed him.
They did. Welcome back. We're back after a week off. It was HeroesCon weekend last weekend, so we took the weekend off. But we are back now with a special supersized edition. Exactly. Next weekend we've got, or this coming weekend, we will have Supergirl coming out. Um, but we got a supersized issue because we got to catch up on Absolute Catwoman, and then we had actually three releases this past weekend: Absolute Batman, Absolute Flash, Absolute Green Arrow. We're going to talk about all of them right after this. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing and what you thought of the myriad of absolute books that we're going to be covering tonight or today. And also, then don't forget to hit the notification bell. So you're alerted whenever we upload new content. So we had a new. It's a 6-issue miniseries. Absolute Catwoman came out by Scott Snyder, Shea Grayson, and Bengal, not the tiger.
Not to be confused with the tiger. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was wondering.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so this is really kind of the first spin-off kind of a thing that we've had really from any of the titles. Um, Obviously from the pages of Absolute Batman, Selena Kyle. Um, it starts off basically with the narration of Selena talking about well, how she does what she does and everything, and we see someone who's trying to steal something who looks a lot like the Catwoman from the main universe, um, and we're kind of led to believe that that may be her, maybe it's a flashback to when she, from before to what she was. But we quickly find out that that's actually just a different person who is part of her, who was part of her henchman group way back when.
That was a cool start to it. It led us to believe that this is just like what you're familiar with. This is main universe Catwoman. Gets the tingle in her gut, the thrill of the steel, all these things. And she just gets gunned down right at the safe, hit with the tranquilizers. And there's the absolute Catwoman standing over her, revealing that she was one of many cat women.
Exactly. We see the rest of her group that were aligned with her at one point show up again. She gets a smile on her face, says, "All right, let's do this." And then we get a double page spread of basically her kicking the butt of
Yeah, she just hops around the room and whoops some tail.
exactly.
Yeah, they would find out this is her house they were breaking into. And about that time, she discovers a bomb hopping around the room and she darts out the window, barely surviving the explosion.
Yes. And then we wake up. Well, she wakes up the next morning, or we presume it's the next morning. Or I say earlier in the morning. We flash back to earlier in the morning where she's talking to her rental person, I guess, or maybe her property person. She's looking for a new place. She's looking to basically leave where she is now, and she has her eye on this place that has this nice view of everything, and she wants to go see it. And she basically says, I want to go see it. And she's like, okay, when can you go see it? She's like, now. And so she takes off to go see the place that she wants to see. But she goes down into this place, for lack of a better term, a cat cave that she has, where she has a whole bunch of things that kind of looks a lot like what a bat cave would look like if all the bats were in the form of cats.
Costumes, cars, high tech computers, all the stuff and things.
Correct. And then we start to see exactly how she got the way that she was. We flash back then 12 years ago.
We're peeling the onion here. Now we're two flashbacks deep at this point.
Exactly. And we see her basically in being accosted by a landlord,
Foster parent.
foster parent. Um, who basically is just wants to take everything from her. She has a bracelet that she got from her mother that he wants, um, and he basically takes her
No,
out and.
that's a bracelet she stole from the foster parent. The bracelet
Oh, that's right. I'm
belonged to
sorry.
a
You're right. You're right.
foster parent that
Sorry.
he bought from Marlene. She's a
Sorry.
thief,
Right.
and he's just fostering her because he wants the benefits from being a you get paid, and there are financial benefits being a
Right.
foster parent. He does the bare minimum of taking care of the kids because he just lives. That's his income, and she doesn't care for him, and she steals from him, and this and that, and he confronted her about it, and she talks trash to him and dips out off the catwalk.
Mhm.
But yeah, she was stealing from her
Yes.
parent.
Yes. Um, then we go back to we come back to the present time. She's now taking a look at this property that this person is interested in acquiring for her. She sees this one thing. There's one thing that catches her eye. It basically is a large cat, for lack of a better term. Um, and so she basically says it's perfect for her, and then that's what she does.
And then we go back to London, back to her flat that she's trying to get rid of because she's trying to retire. It seems she's done with everything, but she isn't there for long before she hears a sound, and she goes and investigates it, and it's none other than a familiar face from the regular universe, a character that's been attached to Selena Kyle before. It's young Holly
Hmm.
is there to visit her with a cake.
Exactly. Holly, who was at one point part of her gang, and now visits with a cake. She has a very interesting thing because they have a flashback of a different time that Holly brought a cake, um, and so we see that. And then we basically have Holly basically saying, "Hey, look, I just wanted to bring you your cake. It's that's all that it is." Um, and she says basically, "I want nothing." Selena says, "I want nothing to do with you anymore. I am not. That's not who I am anymore." But she is still worried about her, so she, asks to make sure that she'll be safe. And Holly says, "Don't worry about me. As you know, I always land on my feet."
About that time, Selena starts cutting the cake,
Hmm.
and she finds inside of it Holly has hidden something. It's a little orb,
Hmm.
little marble. She's not sure what it is, but about that time of discovering it, that's when she sees the shadows of the intruders coming into her house. So Holly brought trouble behind her. Looked like she was hiding some getaway stuff in the cake, and they're hot on her heels. It's the cat gang from the opening of the book.
Correct. And then we have a prolonged chase throughout. Selena finally gets on the motorcycle. I don't recall exactly what she called it. She had a particular name for it, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But anyway,
Wildcat.
Wildcat, yes, that's it. Wildcat. She made a comment earlier when we first learned what the name was that she had never actually ridden it, um, and now as part of this chase, she now decides to hop on and she takes off, and so she hops on Wildcat. That just sounds so wrong. She hops on Wildcat. Um, Takes off, and we get this chase throughout the city. They're basically, trying to catch her. She is doing everything she can to escape. She pulls some things with her different. If you recall, her tail, besides having an Uzi at the end of it, it does some other. It does some other things as well, and it helps her to basically escape from this group that is chasing her. But we come to find out that Holly has been captured. Holly has now been captured by this group.
Yeah, it seems like the leader of the group, this organized ex gang of cat ladies, the leader is very formidable, squaring off with Selena, couldn't get the best of her, and they got away with Holly, despite the Wildcat having a transformer mode where it turns into a galloping robot cat, because that's so much more practical than an actual motorcycle. But they got away with Holly, but they didn't get away with the orb.
Right. And we find we then go to where Holly is being held. We hear
Elsewhere.
elsewhere exactly. We hear the person who is in charge of all this talking to the person who captured Holly, saying basically, you've done well, um, and basically saying
I'm very proud of you,
pretty proud of
Cassandra King.
Cassandra Cain, who, for those of you who don't know, is Batgirl in the main universe. So.
Clearly not in this one, but that explains the formidable martial arts. Similar to the
Correct.
main universe, she is him. She's that girl. She's tough as nails.
Correct. And they've already announced that although this is a 6 issue miniseries, they're going to take a 1 month break after issue number 3. They're going to do an absolute Cassandra Cain special, and then they're going to do issues 4 through 6. So we can look
Hmm.
forward to that as well.
Yeah,
Which is good.
where would you rate it on a 1 to 10? What would you give it?
I think it maybe a 7. I thought it was pretty good.
I'm about right
Um,
there with you.
yeah.
7 to 8. It was perfectly fine. I'll be honest with you. The layers into the flashback and stuff. It's not the. I think a lot of these absolute books. I mean, we joke about it,
Mhm.
like then now, then now.
Yeah.
A lot of them rely heavily on it. It almost feels like they're trying to pace their way through this universe so fast that I don't know. I guess you have to get to know the history of some of these characters and stuff. It seems very formulaic, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And other than I guess, starting at the very beginning and creating everything, it would take, years to get to where they want the characters to be. So they want the characters to be as close to as close to how you know them with their own take on them already, without having to dive into, issues and issues and issues of origin that they would have to do. So they do, like you said, they do a lot of, you know, then, now, before, after. So, but that leads us to Absolute Batman number 21. If you recall, at the end of the last issue, we had Batman was facing off against the Robins. Um, and so that's kind of where we have. By the way, this I think has the best splash page I think I've seen in a long time.
This
Um,
issue?
with the title page.
Oh,
Um,
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It's tough. You want to pull it up?
sure.
Yeah. So we're face off with the Robins, and they say stand down. You can't win this, and he immediately just wraps his cape around his hands and says, "These are bad odds for you." So he's got his cape wrapped around his hand with all the barbs all on the fist of it. But yeah, that's freaking tough. And his axe in the other hand. That's one hell of a title page. It's titled Strawman Part 2, despite there being no Strawman in it. And it
Right.
was heavily solicited as the Two-Face issue, despite it being the Robins issue Part 2. I don't know. Some of the marketing on this stuff is making me scratch my head. It has no bearing on the quality of the story or not, but it's just funny to me. Like all the
Yeah.
retail exclusives were Two-Face focused. He's on the cover. Penguin has the variant to match it and everything. And we
Yeah.
don't
Which
do
is
any
what
more or less with them in this issue.
they're in it, but it really isn't. I mean, this is more of a Clayface Joker issue than it is
Yeah, there's the
Two-Face.
bigger revelation with Joker than anything. The
Yeah.
first cameo of Clayface,
Mhm.
not counting my live stream at HeroesCon, and the Robins. It's part 2 of the Robins story.
Right. Right.
Because
Which, if
again,
you remember,
we check in with the Rogues every single issue, pretty much.
correct. And if you remember last issue, we had the big thing was having all the Robins on the first issue, and
Mhm.
they appeared basically in the last panel.
Yeah,
Um,
they were only at the very end. That was
yeah,
it.
yeah. So it's kind of like, I mean, if you get the title page, if you get the cover, you're basically getting almost the very end of the book. It seems like. Um, but there's the battle, the quick battle between the Robins happens at the very beginning.
Oh, it's
Um,
tough too, man. He
mhm,
takes some hits, but he dismantles them. He
mhm,
does a good job of it. He puts his axe through was it Duke's
mhm,
mech? You have Jason kind of being hot headed, going hard, tumbling buildings, and really making people question if this is if we're going about this the right way. You got Wade in their ear screaming more and more and more. You got Dick shutting down his mech, saying, "Guys, this isn't what we signed up for." Yeah, it was wild till he gets a little bit cornered, and we see a familiar take on a Batman Year One, but told in an absolute kind of way. He's
mhm,
down and out. He's under the rubble. He's wounded. The heat's on him, and then it's Harley, his backup in his ear, who hits the signal and flies the bats in. But it's
mhm,
not the traditional bats coming in swarming. It's an army of drones, absolute drones coming in, like with little bat heads on them, just take off and they fluster all the mechs and everything, and they pull him out and take him through the sky and get him out of there. It was really cool.
It was really cool. And then guess what we do? We do
Then,
then. So we
yeah,
flash back to a while back where Bruce is basically talking to some of the guys, the Falcon guys, I believe, right? Um, he's talking to them, and he's kind of pretending that he doesn't like the cops, just like they don't like the cops and everything, until Jim Gordon pulls up. So he's seeing Jim Gordon, and he basically have this conversation that's out of earshot of everybody else, so they don't know what he's saying. But he basically at the end says, "Okay, you know what? I apologize for what I'm about to say." As he started to drive off, Bruce screams at him like he hates him and everything, and so there's
yeah.
that like,
There's an important line of dialogue in there. I think
mm,
it's when
yeah,
he pulls up and he's talking to Bruce, as someone who's known him since he's a kid. He's like, "Hey, man, like I understand what's going on, but just don't lose yourself. Like you ain't got to be here, and we know what you're doing. And just remember, because he's the enforcer for these guys. He's paying off the debt as they're in working as their enforcer. And Gordon reminds him that every baseball bat has a soft spot, and it's the person
mm,
holding it. I'm like, I like that.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So then we flash to the funeral for Jim Gordon. So we go
Now,
back to now for the funeral of Jim Gordon, and we see Barbara basically
doing a little
talking about
eulogy.
what's that?
Said doing a little eulogy.
Exactly, doing a eulogy, talking about how he is, um, and
All the Robins come up to give
right,
her their condolences and said, "We're out there. We're going to get him for you. Don't worry." And she makes it expressly clear, like, "Yo, we saw what y'all did last night, destroying the city. What you're doing is not for anyone but your boss. Don't do anything for me. As a matter of fact, question everything you're doing to begin with. Get out of my face. I'll handle this myself."
right, and quick aside, we do know that Barbara Gordon will become Absolute Batgirl. We have seen the solicitations for her on a cover coming up, so that's coming
Announced
up
at
with one.
Heroes Con.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. During the DC panel, so
Mm-hmm.
we saw that cover. Um, and then we go to the rogues again. We check in on the rogues. We see Harvey. We see Oswald. We see Croc trying to keep everything together. He's trying to be like the cement that keeps the whole group together.
Yeah, and they're kind of just walking and talking about how much they changed pretty much, or talking about their current state of affairs. And each one of them kind of gives you a little glimpse into some of the stuff they've been up to lately. And you see Ozzy's walking with crutches, but it shows you where he's actually had a run in with some people recently, and those crutches came up and became a Tommy gun, and he took them out. You have Two Face, who is walking and like doing the whole little flipping the coin thing. Some people walking in the street, and he like the whole it was showing you that they're pretty much the villains that you expect them to be, but it's doing it in like 3 panel little glimpses into these flashbacks of how they've pretty much turned into a problem.
Mhm.
And Waylon's trying to kind of talk them down. And it's Oz who is looking at Waylon, who, like you said, is being the cement holding them together. He kind of just takes his crutch and lifts the Wonder Woman amulet off his chest, and he immediately starts turning back into a crocodile. And he's pointing out, like, you're really no different than the rest of us. You ain't really got it all together like you think, buddy.
Right. But Wayland says basically, we help each other. That's how we get through this. We help each other. So, and then we get what is probably the biggest, um, not surprised, but the biggest story of the book, which is really, we see the first interaction between um, Bruce and the Joker.
Yeah, we got Bruce back at his job. He's at a
Mhm.
construction site in a skyscraper that's under construction. He's standing out on an I-beam up in the clouds with just some other buildings poking through, and all the other big bosses of the job site are saying, "Hey, the investors are here. We want to meet everyone, say thank you." And Bruce ain't really moving or concerned. He's out there deep thinking. And while he does that, somebody walks out the I-beam to come meet him. He says, and it's none other than Jack Grimm himself, said, "It's nice to finally meet you." Bruce immediately turns around and throws a punch, screaming, "You!" And Jack, skinny, casual Jack, just catches his fist nonchalantly without even taking another hand out of his pocket. Bruce is telling him, "I know what you are. I'm not scared of you." Blase blah, and Joker just kind of flexes on him a little bit and kind of smile, but it looks like smile, but he does like a little half transform, just enough to spook Bruce, and he almost falls off the I beam. But Joker catches him and gives him like, you don't get to die that easy, like basically kind of thing, kind of hinting at like, you're mine, I created you and I get to keep you, like pretty much insinuating that he's a toy. And he's also hints at these other things that he's working on that has to do with him, and he needs him to see his full potential. The one thing I say today, let it be this: Batman isn't yours to end, he's mine, and he's just getting started. And it's showing you flashes of inside of Arc M where some goopy goop is happening, some hands and a head, and out comes what we now know will be absolute Clayface. Perfectly timed for the movie coming up.
Correct. Absolute Clayface, who is actually molding his head into Batman. So yeah, we get the whole, you know, from the 1989 Batman, the whole "I made you" type thing,
Mm,
which is basically, the reverse of what happened in the Batman movie. But yeah, um, great interaction with the different characters. It was great seeing. I don't think we didn't need a full issue of the Joker against Batman. I think they're kind of giving us
that
little,
was cool.
exactly, little bits and
And we
pieces.
still don't have the full details on what all Bruce read in the file folder Gordon had. We
Right,
know that the events that happened at the zoo were either coordinated or they knew they were going to happen. We don't know what involvement the straw man had in it, and how far Grimm's plan goes into Bruce's life, but we know it's a thing. So
right,
seeing that immediate reaction from Bruce means that it's pretty serious, and they're just giving us these little tidbits. I like that a lot. Like, you don't, because that makes the pacing feel like it slows down a little bit. Because a lot of this, I mean, it feels like every week, first appearance of this, first appearance of
right.
that, but in reality, the story that's happening, that's unfolding, it isn't unfolding at as quick of a pace as it might seem.
Right. And we're promised, Frank Thierry promised that there would be more ARC specials coming along. We'll see, not just ARC M, but we'll see some of the other ARCs as well, and what they may be doing in some of those. So those are coming up as well. So,
Pretty
um,
cool.
yeah,
1 to 10,
exactly.
what you give it?
I would give this an 8, I think.
Solid eight,
Yeah.
8.5, 1 to 2. Yeah. Yeah.
That moves us to Absolute Flash and Gorilla City Part 1. Um, we see Grodd to start. He's in Colorado. He's being chased by some people, and he runs to Papa Grodd.
We're
Um,
doing a Stranger Things thing now, huh?
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So he runs basically to his Papa Grodd, and we just kind of, as soon as he gets there and he gets to his papa, we then flash to Detroit, where we see Flash, who's looking through some of the books, some of Barry Allen's books and everything, and sorry, through Ray Palmer's books, not Barry Allen's. um, Ray Palmer's books. um, we see some of the things. One of the things we see is a page that says "What lies below Still Point."
And you
You
see the two
recall?
symbols there, though, Paul?
Yeah, the atom symbol and the omega symbol.
Firestorm, maybe? Absolute Firestorm?
Could be, could be. um, And so we then he sees another quick flashback, and he thinks back to what he had seen, where basically he says that Thawne already took Barry, so he
Below.
took him below. So we've been led to believe that there is something below besides what we see in this issue here. We've heard that phrase before, that there's something below Still Point. Um,
We still don't know what it is, though. Maybe one
we
day we'll get there.
we do not. But he gets then suddenly this really, really, like, almost manic type desperation message from Grodd, basically. And so he doesn't know exactly what it is, other than he knows that it's Grodd. He calls Linda. Linda says that she'll meet him. He says, she says, "Where are
In
you right
Iron
now?" In Iron Heights. Like, "Where are you?" And as soon as she says, "Where are you?" he's standing next to her, and
here.
exactly. And so
But he,
go ahead.
no, you're good.
They start to take off. West Linda West says, sorry, Linda. Well, not Linda West yet, but Linda says,
Linda
"Don't run off on me like you did last time. I'll go with you, but I need to stay with you. You can't just, leave me this time." And he's like, all right, I'll go ahead and I do that. So they take off. Um, they're running. He says that he thinks he may know where God may have gone to. If he went to anywhere, he went to Colorado, which is where saw him in the opening pages. And so they go there.
They also find that there's news reports coming out about the disturbance in the location where they're at. So they go inside to investigate. What they find in there is some of the officers just standing there lethargic with their eyes open and drooling. And then the officer suddenly jumps and attacks him with glowing green eyes. He flashes around and goes to pull Linda out there. And then you see all the other strike team members that were in there in the beginning after the monkeys, all lit up green eyes, firing on Flash and Linda. And they're running around, dodging it all. And about this time, little Grodd pulls up and stops the bullets. And there was kind of just the whole mind control thing from the gorilla protecting itself. And they go walking around with little Grodd, and he's explaining that Papa's here, Papa's angry, people are after us. This ain't good.
Right. Wally did get hit in the shin at one point with the bullet, and then Grodd stopped the rest of them. Um, but we then uh, see what do we say? Oh, it's then that Wally and Linda. Linda is working on Wally, wrapping his leg and everything, his shin, and they look around and they try to find out where did Grad go, um, and we hear, "Shh, they're going to hear you. They're everywhere." And as soon as they do that, they turn the corner, and who is there? But ta-da!
So the rogues have caught up
Correct.
as told to do by Rick Flag. Go get the monkey.
Mhm.
I'll clear your background. We'll straighten all this out, but I gotta have the monkey. They're
Right.
there.
Yes. And so that's where we end. That's where we'll pick up next issue. Um, this again, I think, was probably a good 7.5. I thought. Um, the difference in the reading between some of these, this Flash, I mean, appropriately so, goes by really fast. You can really kind of whip through this issue. Um, but that's okay. It's good having different experiences with different titles, and it's not you know laborious like it would be in Absolute Manhunter,
It
Martian
goes
Manhunter.
by fast, but I gotta tell you, it feels so flat, man. This
Mm,
book just feels flatter than a tire with no air to me.
really?
I don't know what it is. It has no pizzazz or no spunk. I don't know why. It's just odd. It's an odd read to me. It's not bad. It's not great. It just kind of exists, and I can't put my finger on it. I just don't know what it is.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, and
Got no moxie, Paul.
maybe it goes by so fast because maybe it is too thin. Um,
I
maybe
don't
it's
know.
too much broth and not enough chicken.
Yeah, I just don't feel like any connection to it whatsoever. Like I read it, I'm excited to see what happens and everything, and like I see where they're like planting some stuff that like with the Ray Palmer thing. I see the symbol that could be a tease for Firestorm, and that kind of stuff's exciting to me. But the actual body of the story, like, all we're doing is chasing down a monkey right now. That's all we're doing. And when we get the monkey, then what? Like
Right.
there's really not a story going on here. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. I felt because we talked about it when the first year wrapped up and how lackluster it was for such what should have been like a big thing, like getting to the bottom of the mystery and the explanation of what happened with the event and how he got the powers and stuff. That felt like just okay. And like even when they teased like that there was like what looked like a spaceship technology, that page where like
Mhm.
inside of Fort Fox, and that nothing came of that. And it just oh, there's just stuff here. And I don't know. I don't know. Just there's elements there that they can pick up and do something with, but it's just
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I'm hoping that obviously they have to go back to Still Point and find out what's below. Um,
yes, yes.
so maybe that will work a long way towards helping to beef it up, whatever, and give it some oomph. So, um,
I hope
well,
so.
let's talk about Absolute Green Arrow number
Let's do it.
two.
What cover is that?
It is
Or
cover
who did it?
C. I knew you were
Is
gonna
that
ask me
is that a Tula Lote or whatever?
that. No, Who did do this cover?
Should be on the barcode.
Yeah, I don't have my glasses.
Oh, fair enough.
Is that Riley Rossmo? I think it is Riley Rossmo, actually.
Let me see it. Yeah, it looks wicked. I like that. That's super cool. I got the fancy A cover.
So do I.
He said, "Yeah, double dipping."
There you go. There you go. Okay, so where were we? We started at the end of the last issue. We're in the Arrow Cave, for lack of a better term. They were trying to open up this special compartment that's part of the Arrow Cave. They finally get open and they find this non-decomposing dead person that has eyes all over him, basically laying on the ground, and that's where we
Yeah, what a
basically end.
plot twist that was.
Hmm. And that's the first scene that we get of this particular issue as well.
Yeah, we see a puzzle. It's kind of like a fever dream. I mean, it's pretty
Right.
much straight out the gate. You see a bunch of puzzle pieces, and one of them is a picture, an image of that kid with the eyes all over him, and kind of Dinah talking to herself of just about Oliver Queen, how he was murdered. He made billions. She knew him before he was rich. Blah blah blah. And she's having flashes of the Green Arrow, the longbow killer, has her pinned up with arrows and takes off his mask, and it's Ollie telling her, "Hey, I'm the hero," and then yelling at her and having all these eyes on him, but it's just a nightmare she wakes up from. It's a whole bunch of flashes and her trying to piece together the crazy events of that first issue. How does it fall into place with her past? Because she has a mystery to solve.
Right. And so we switch from her basically sitting on the floor, having woken up, to getting all these different news reports on someone's phone. We talk about the fact that anybody can celebrate the assassinations of these people: Jubal Slade, Reese Tyler, Hector Hammond is attacked. They say it's disgusting, but people are also noticing that the killings are renewing scrutiny of Slade's sex trafficking allegations. So definite parallel
People,
lines to Jeffrey Epstein.
yeah, definitely. And people are
And she,
getting, they're talking about the momentum where people in the streets are painting the Green Arrow business logo on other institutions and rich people's estates, almost goading the killer to come here next.
right. So we see Dinah basically, talking to herself, wondering about what she's going to do next. We see her talking. Remember, she's working for Merlin, helping as his protector, his bodyguard.
No,
Oh
no.
no,
Her and Merlin are
Merlin
working
hides.
for Hector
Correct,
Hammond trying to
correct,
solve the case. Yeah.
correct. Um, and so she does that. We do some, not surprisingly, we do some flashbacks um, to we see well, actually, first, before we do that, we go to a boxing ring where we see Mia Dearden. If you remember, there were three people that were mentioned as possibly part of the you may be the longbow killer.
Black
Um,
Spider.
exactly, Black Spider, Mia Dearden, and Roy Harper. Um, so we go and we see we find Mia Dearden. She's basically in one of those like self-made gyms, boxing matches, boxing things, and she's doing everything there. And basically, we then flash back. Guess what? 6 years ago. Um,
As all good absolute books do.
correct. They should just do like a crossover and just call it then, and like just bring
Then,
all the
yeah.
characters, all the characters together.
It's a flashback of Mia's last interaction with Fallout with Ollie, how she was calling out his bad business partners and stuff.
Yep. And then we flash to then we go back to the current where now Dinah is basically in the ring with Mia, fighting her. And we basically see where even though it was a boxing match supposedly, at one point Dinah picks her up and basically kind of gives her like a tomb driver or a pile stone or a pile driver rather, or a tombstone. Um, and she's on the ground now. And she says there's a cold-blooded murderer out there, and when he hurts someone innocent, not if. How will you sleep knowing you could have helped stop him? Because obviously, she was one of the three suspects, but They also think that because of her interactions with Oliver, she may know more than basically she's letting on, and she may have information that they could use that might help them actually catch the person. So then we find out um, that she does know something. She knows that Oliver Queen had a son, and she basically says, "This is where we find out now about Connor Hawk, um, who was theorized could possibly be the longbow killer. We just hadn't seen them yet. So we flash now to Connor Hawk, and Connor Hawk is basically traveling looking for things. He basically is the last thing that Ollie tried to protect was Connor Hawk. Um, we finally get caught up. Dinah catches up to Connor Hawk, has a heart to heart with him. Um, and while they're talking, they are suddenly attacked by the longbow hunter. And we then see that Connor is basically shot dead by the longbow hunter. And so if he was a suspect, he is no longer a suspect because he has now joined the dearly departed. But we get some more actions and everything because if you remember, even though he's only shot through the shoulder, the longbow hunter is using poison on the arrows as well. So it's the poison really that kind of kills Connor in the end. So he gets killed, and we then hear about um, what's going on with Roy Hopper. We find out that someone got a lead on Roy Hopper, and it turns out that he was seen in Star City that night. But what was he doing in Star City? He was digging up Oliver Queen's grave.
Doing his best impersonation of Jim.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because in every universe, Oliver Queen needs to come back from the dead, apparently. So
So how does this issue influence your idea of who might be or who might not be under the mask?
it does not impact it at all. I said it wasn't. I didn't believe it was Connor Hawk to start because they weren't introduced in the first issue, and I think it's someone that we're going to have seen from the very beginning. That's I'm still sticking with that. So, and I said Roy Harper, which seems like um, an obvious choice, but as of right now, I'm going to stick with that.
With who?
Roy Harper.
You're sticking with Roy.
Yep. How
The
about
way
you?
he was drawn looked like he might be a burnout, like with the big coat with the ruffles on the inside, the necklaces and stuff.
How about you? Who do you think it is?
Doesn't change a thing. I think it's Mia, Roy, or possibly both of them.
Well, that'd be interesting if it's more than one person. This I would give an 8 as well. This really advanced the story. I thought we knocked some people out. We found out more about the Oliver Queen's backstory, and ends on a wicked cliffhanger as well.
Yeah, I mentioned it to you. I think it feels like what could be like a Last Ronin kind of formula. Like every issue will take another player, potential suspect off the board, kind of thing.
Mm.
Do you see Dinah getting flipped, like with the dialogue between Arrow and her in the brief moments, like kind of questioning, and with Mia, like questioning why would you even work for these people, despite how bad X, Y, or Z is. They're bad too. So why would you ever work for them?
Yeah, I could definitely see her flipped. Absolutely.
The final issue, like her putting on the mask and joining the
And
Arrows, kind of
sailing to
thing.
how how cool would that be to have Black Canary become the Green Arrow? Right.
That wouldn't be bad for the Green Arrow to plant the seed, have get her on board, but die in the process of the final fight, and her to don the suit moving forward.
Right. It's it has some potential there. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but Mark will try.
Ponsock.
Ponzak. How do you say that?
Yeah, I asked Jang at Heroes.
Yeah.
Like I went to talk to him, and he did that Wicked Green Arrow cover like here
Mm,
recently, and here's one. This
mm,
is like a glow in the dark version of it, but Alan Alan brought this by and gave it to me. He said he got a couple off the Whatnot, and one of them was double signed. So he gave me this one, which is really cool. I didn't get a sign or anything, but I was talking to Jang, and I'm like, dude, how do you pronounce his name? He's like, Ponsock is the proper pronunciation for his first name, and he said the last name too, but baby steps.
Exactly. Exactly. He said it, but he said it backwards, so he
He
didn't.
said
He
it, but,
didn't.
but I
Might
still
as
have
well,
a
right?
southern tongue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Uh,
pistachio.
yeah. But anyway, he Ponsock indicated that it's still 6 issues right now, but they're hoping to extend it. So I think the first issue sold out pretty well. So did kind of gangbusters. So hopefully they can continue it if things go well. So, um, but yeah, like I said, I would give this an 8. Probably, I think that was probably my favorite of the 4 that we covered. Was probably the Green Arrow one.
I'm with you
So,
on that.
so. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, and leave us a comment. Let us know how we are doing. We'll be back next week with, I want to say, is it Absolute Wonder Woman next issue? I think maybe Superman and Wonder Woman, or maybe, I don't know. I think so, but not positive. Anyway, we'll be back next week with whatever comes out. But that's going to be it. As always, I am Paul. He is Mark.
But we are Legion.
And you're now leaving sector 2815.